person told me.
Are we talking about Isaac Baruch?
Yes.
Okay. So without saying what he said, you had a brief conversation with Mr. Baruch, and that was the end of the call?
I did. It was my understanding Johnny was passed out.
Objection, hearsay.
Okay.
Sustain.
All right, January 24th.
Yes, it is.
So, Your Honor, I'm going to move the admission of Defendant's Exhibit 209, business records exception.
Still hearsay, Your Honor.
Business record exception gets the business record, but it's hearsay. If there's hearsay involved inside the business record, there's still objection to hearsay.
Your Honor, the business records exception, I mean, I don't agree. I think that's the point that hearsay.
Johnny had rented this beautiful mansion in Malibu on the beach. It was gorgeous. And he brought my family out, and his family was out, obviously, in LA. And we stayed in this rented mansion, and we're all together for the holidays. And one evening, we were going to his mother's house. His mother, who you've heard about, was older and sick, but at home being cared for. And one evening, we're going to have dinner, Christmas dinner there with her around the time of her birthday as well. And my best friend said, "You should."
Objection, hearsay.
Sorry.
It wasn't offered to prove the truth of the matter, but go ahead. Go past that. What did you do?
We went
to a family engagement gathering.
Well, we celebrated Thanksgiving out in London. The kids were there. There was a stint of sobriety following how sick he got on set with Paul Bettany after one of his drug binges, and he kind of just came alive again. You know, he even played a prank on me about having relapsed when he hadn't relapsed. You know, I started to kind of feel that with the kids being around. I did think that maybe this was it. We were on a good path, meaning to sobriety, that this was it. And our life was peaceful for a minute. You know, it went back to being wonderful. There were these moments that just felt so wonderful.
Objection, Your Honor, non-responsive.
All right. I'll just sustain the objection.
And they left to go whatever, and then they came back.
How do you know that?
They told me.
Hearsay.
Sustain the objection.
Okay.
And they left to go whatever, and then they came back with drugs, and everything was okay in terms of the withdrawal symptom, of I don't know what you call it at that point. But the table, and Johnny starts asking me about this woman. He thought I was looking at this woman in a sexual way, and I kind of turned it around on him and said that exact same.
Objection, hearsay.
All right.
It's context, Your Honor. This is
I'll
context.
sustain the objection.
Okay. Just say what Mr. Depp said then. I guess you can't tell us what you said to him.
Okay.
Please
So
continue.
shortly after that, I tried to get Johnny to come downstairs, and he just snapped at me, just verbally told me to shut the fuck up. I wanted to do this independent film. I liked the story. I liked the character. I told him I'm not going to wear makeup in the thing.
Objection, hearsay.
Apparently,
Ms. Bitter, if you could approach, please.
I had not, at the time, been, I think that was the first time I was like, is this a broken nose? At the time, I was unsure what that feeling was, but I suspected I had a broken nose. And other than that, I was relatively unscathed. But I remember my nose being swollen, discolored, red, and I took a picture of my face at some point and made a joke about it to my friend about how bad I looked compared to how the red
Objection,
carpet-
hearsay.
It was not for to prove the truth of the matter,
Yes,
sir.
I'll sustain the objection.
Okay. Okay. Just don't say what you told a friend, okay? Okay. Let's take...
hiding it from him. So I didn't want the fight, of course. I didn't want the argument, but I had to kind of eggshell tiptoe around how to tell him when I had any sort of scene like that. And I did tell him in this occasion.
Objection, hearsay.
We need to stay with what Mr. Depp said, okay?
Okay, so he was upset with... I could anticipate that there was a no-win situation here. There was no me talking myself out of this or talking him down or any, you know, a lot of my arguments and my involvement in them are me trying to diffuse by explaining or
Objection, non-responsive.
She's telling the story, Your Honor.
I'll sustain the objection as part. Good.
My back is turned to him and I feel this boot in my back. He just kicked me in the back. I fell to the floor. I caught myself on the floor and I just felt like I was looking at the floor of the plane felt like a long time. Flight attendant, excuse me, and he continued to drink and then eventually started howling like an animal and passed out in the bathroom with the door locked and was howling. And I at some point pushed record on my phone because there was that 5% part of me.
Objection, non-responsive.
I don't think it's non-responsive. She's explaining what led up to her tape recording and why. I mean, I can ask her, well, that's
what he
all.
had done. I knew he would not remember. And if
Calls for speculation.
She can say why she did it and what she thought.
But that last part called for speculation. I'll sustain the
Don't
objection.
say, I knew. Why did you tape record?
in my experience, 12 and had as minimal contact with her as I possibly could. So,
And why is that?
she was difficult, troubled, and inconsistent. She drank on the job and stuff like that, and her behavior was pretty
Objection, relevance.
horrible.
She's already testified. Kate James has testified, and I think the bias, we can...
All right, I'll allow that.
Time had passed, and I get a knock on the door, and it was someone from the hotel that I was staying at. The hotel staff had been sent up to the room because John...
Objection, calls for hearsay and speculation.
I'll sustain the objection.
So don't tell what the staff said, what happened next.
Then I start communicating with Johnny.
And when you say started, I mean, was he on the phone? Did you call him? What happened here?
He called the room and then my cell phone, and then once I was on the cell phone, he was accusing me of not being in my room, so he called the room, and I had to prove that I was in the room because, by answering the phone. And we had a lengthy...
February, I'm going to jump to February, March 2016. What, if any, communications did you have with Mr. Depp about a prenup?
Well, after the engagement, but before the engagement party, I started to feel like it would make, I know that he earned significantly more than me. He's a successful actor. I wanted to eliminate any doubt in his mind and in other people's minds, so I brought it up to him and brought it up to my therapist.
Objection, hearsay.
She's just saying that she brought it up to her therapist. She's not saying what she said. But please focus on Mr. Depp, okay?
Of course.